Welcome back, guys, to another episode of What You Take, the show where we talk about just about anything we can possibly think of and bring you guys along for the unfiltered, unapologetic ride. As always, you're going to have myself here, Steve, my brother Chris,
That's me.
and Sexy Spence.
We filter him a lot.
It's fair.
He's just such an ass.
Yeah.
I say horrible things.
Anyway, today, guys, we are continuing our talk on video games. We've got some more updates on an upcoming franchise. Chris, go ahead, take the wheel.
Well, today we're going to be talking about the announcement of Witcher 4.
Yes!
And the speculation around The Witcher 4. So I've done a little bit of digging. I've watched the trailer. And I got so many gosh darn questions. But the first thing I will tell you is what I know. And what I know is that Ciri is going to be our main protagonist. I know that Ciri is going to be, at the very least, a professional monster slayer and potentially a full-blown Witcher. And that this is the first game in a new trilogy.
Whoa!
Yes. This is the first.
I didn't know that part.
This is the first game in a new trilogy following Ciri. And they are moving away from their patented Red Engine and making the game in Unreal Engine 5. Lot to unpack.
Oh!
So what do you
I'm
guys...
excited to see that environment, though, with Unreal Engine 5. 'cause
Yeah.
That is an insane...
Hey, Steven, do we have any footage of what Unreal 5 looks like?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, that's going to be an insane, like...
That's a certain
I'm just
level
picturing someone with, like, a PC, and they just do like one of those, like, $10,000 PCs, and it just looks like a person walking through a field.
That's
Yes.
redonkulous. Okay, so I can continue to geek out about that later. That's fine. But so this is going to be its own trilogy. Ciri is going to be our girl now for at least 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And the reason I say that that's interesting, and I don't personally care because of the way that of how the game itself is set up, but there's a lot of hate going around about the fact that you're going to be playing as a girl.
So,
yeah,
okay,
I've heard about that.
I'm going to shut this down right now.
Oh, do it!
These are the same people that were bitching about Kratos, and I'm going to say the same thing that I said about Kratos. What the fuck else was supposed to happen? You spent all of 3 getting ready to pass off the reins to Ciri. Unless you're a bad father, in which case you killed her. What else was gonna happen? Geralt's retired. He's in Toussaint now. Are we gonna go follow Dandelion around and No, they were setting Ciri up.
Because they don't want to play a girl.
Like,
They had the same controversy with, like, Horizon Zero Dawn.
I don't get me wrong. There are certain games that when given the option, I like playing as a guy from the aspect of, like, I want to, like, I do the, like, it's me going through this
Right,
adventure.
it's
right?
more immersive.
Yeah, like
Right.
when I do Cyberpunk, when I do things like that where I have the choice, like, yes, I prefer to be a dude because that's me, right? But you get your side missions, you get games that are dedicated towards your main character being a girl. Fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Did y'all complain about Tomb Raider?
They couldn't resist those cardboard boxes.
They didn't complain. They just also didn't play it. They just watched it. That's all. So what else have you heard in regards to this new franchise or this new trilogy coming up with Witcher? Do we know anything as far as the story goes, anything like that?
So this is where it gets into weird. This is where I get excited because I don't know what the story could be about. I mean, the story up to this point has been really kind of focused around Geralt and Geralt's own problems. And then Witcher 3 dealt a lot with Ciri and was focused much more around Ciri. And I guess the reason I don't know where The Witcher 4 is going to go in terms of its story is that with Witcher 3, the biggest problem that we had was the Wild Hunt tracking down Ciri and trying to take her for her power. Well, at the end of 3, you defeat the Wild Hunt, and Ciri averts the White Frost, which was the apocalypse level event that was coming for the continent that was going to drown it all in ice. So the two major threats to Ciri have been handled as of the end of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So I don't know where that leaves us on the continent in the terms of what's happening and what Ciri could get involved in. It could be political shenanigans. It could be the hags that got away. Because I believe at the end of 3, you were able to kill one of the hags of Crookback Bog, depending on how you played, but 2 of them got away, or you were able to kill 2 of them and 1 of them got away.
What I'm interested though, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't completed Witcher 3 and I kind of only know what I know from you guys, but Ciri being a full-blown monster hunter and or witcher, she never went through the trials, correct? So
No.
do we have some kind of like a subverted, like she's the placeholder as a witcher, she does the job as a witcher, but she is not like original recipe witcher?
No, it's possible that Ciri could become a full-blown Witcher. I know typically the process has been fatal to female candidates,
Yep.
but it was a major plot point in 3. It was actually a major story beat, like a couple of like chapters, I guess you could say, long, where the Trial of Grasses had to be rediscovered and refound so that they could cure somebody with a disease that could give them information about Ciri. And at the end of that, there was a very long conversation about what do we do with this knowledge now that we have it back? Are we going to make more Witchers? Are we going to start recruiting again? At this point in the story, there were only 2 or 3 Witchers left. I mean, Vesemir had died. Depending on how things played out, Lambert or Eskel, both could die or both could live, or one could die and one could live. And they had their opinions about making new Witchers. So the Trial of Grasses does exist again as of the campaign of Witcher 3.
Gotcha.
So I guess it is possible for Ciri to maybe try and undergo the mutations.
Would it be needed for her given her other abilities?
For her to be a Witcher, yes.
Okay.
I mean, that is also speculation about what this could be about, because maybe she's been living with this power her whole life, that it's been nothing of a burden to her, and she feels like it's based in her blood.
Right.
So undergoing the Trial of Grasses might be able to mutate her to a point where her other gifts go away and people stop pursuing her. Or another aspect of the Trial of Grasses too is that it makes you infertile. Witchers can't procreate, they have to make more of them.
Right.
So it's possible that if she couldn't mutate herself enough to terminate her gifts, she could at least make sure that nobody else gets them after her.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, a little bit there.
That's
Kind of.
What are your thoughts, Spence?
What if she's not a witcher, just a monster hunter?
Could be.
You know, I mean, she can do some pretty crazy shit. So,
It is also.
but I'm curious how the plot's gonna go, though. I think that's my biggest thing.
That's another
Like-
thing is a speculation about the plot is maybe the whole game is her trying to get the Trial of the Grasses. Maybe it's not in the past.
Right,
Maybe that's what the story
yeah.
is.
Because one of the things about it, though, is like there's so many varied stories. It's hard to start a next series without kind of affecting the third one or your playthrough of the third one. you
Right.
know?
Well, they did choose a canon ending. I know that for The Witcher 3.
Like
because-
official.
Yeah,
like-
they chose a canon ending because there was one where Ciri dies if you're a bad father, which I ranted about earlier.
Yeah, you can't really have that one and then
Yeah. The second one is if you're a good enough dad and enough of a dick to her real dad, Emir, she just moves in with Geralt and lives with Geralt the rest of
yeah.
the time. And the third one is she goes and becomes Empress of all Nilfgaard.
Interesting. I will definitely be curious to see what route they go.
They chose 2.
They chose number 2? Gotcha. I'm interested to see how the game's plot's actually going to play out. I think that's definitely one that I will hop on, especially with Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I'm going to get it because I want to see just graphically how beautiful that game is
Well,
going
I'm
to
like
be.
age checking myself here, but I remember the third one came out. Everyone was blown away by the graphics.
Oh,
It
for
was-
sure.
You know what I mean? So now that they're doing like Unreal Engine 5 and the newer series, it's kind of exciting to see what they're capable of doing with the environment.
Oh, absolutely. Guys, as far as the new Witcher trilogy is coming up here with Ciri, if you guys know any details, anything like that we should be keeping an eye on, or things that you are looking forward to, or even things that you're worried about, not her being a girl, drop them down in the comments. We'd love to hear what you got as far as all that goes. Make sure to give this video a like, share it to a friend, and until next time, peace.
Out.